Play some good old getting ready for the FSL tonight music. And
is there a chat room that should show up on the page?
I can do that. You want me to give you a chat room?
Oh no, there it is. It just wasn't. Are we in unfiltered? Is that our?
Yeah, you want to do unfiltered? Let's do unfiltered.
Yeah, sure.
Unless, I mean, we can.
That's what's on your page, so I'll just go in there.
You got it. You got it.
I'm in.
All right. So everyone, put the word out. It's about to start happening.
Okay. Do you have the list of
Skypers? I am checking. Hold on. Don't pressure me.
Where is it? Actually, where's the list?
Brian?
Can you just send it again? Because I'm clearly not seeing it.
I can't find it either.
Way to go, Brian.
I think I can find it. Hold on.
That's called professionalism, sir. All right, let me set up just the two of you guys, because you guys are the stars of the show. Boop, 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 boop. I feel like that's wrong somehow. You should be on opposite sides. There you go. I'm liking that much better. And I guess this is an official BB Live Show Network publication, right? So we should put the BB Live Show there. Special presentation.
And the winner is to the Ron Silver Lookalike Contest.
Yes.
All right, I'm re-forwarding.
Someone's got to carry the torch, Andrew.
FSL tonight. And then let me move this to the local radio guys. We're small fry.
That would be a bad time for a bathroom break, right? Yeah,
no, it's a great time.
No, now is the only time.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Forever. For the rest of your life.
Don't turn on my camera again.
So long. Oh, off dead.
Oh, you're actually going to go into the bathroom.
That was awkward. The back. Now we just see a silhouette right back here.
Yeah.
doing the business. Oh my gosh! Listen, I know I'm just a small-time radio guy, but never have I seen an event like tonight. This is freaking tremendous.
Thanks so much for being with us tonight, Brian.
No, it's a pleasure of all the networks for you guys to host. I mean, our little podunk, you guys are the big leagues.
That's why we're wearing suits.
Here, Jonathan Colton watches you guys every night.
That's only because he's pursuing legal action for us using his song as our theme.
Yeah, okay. But still, we love the guy. Sue us.
Aha! Here we go. So just call these guys in any order?
Yeah.
All right.
I emailed them all today and said, just be listening after 6:30 and we'll call you.
Right.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
So hopefully they're there for us right now. I got to open up one more Skype channel. We're into the deadly fourth Skype zone, Justin.
Dear God.
4 instances of Skype simultaneously. Has everybody tweeted this out?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't. So the answer is no.
You are going to.
If you know what's good for you. What's the official title of this?
You know, I think we're watching like a Canadian or a French cop show here.
French-Canadian cop.
Probably French-Canadian then.
Yeah, like Le Pete and, Gromard.
And the beard.
What is this over
Fighting
here?
crime in Quebec.
I like Le Pete and Fromage.
Le Pete and... No, it's Le Pete and Le Fromage.
Yes. Le Pete, Le Fromage.
The official name will be FSL Tonight Championship. Championship.
So, Tom, just to confirm, we're not doing our tease in between the Dragon Sports Talk Radio and Big Boom.
No,
right? We're going right.
No tease. No tease.
Yeah. Are we
Because
live
it's
right
all
now?
it's all
Yeah, we're live.
The crying.
There we go. Boom, ba-doom, boom. Okay, so wow, for some reason, I guess I'm already logged in on this, which means
What does it mean?
it means that I can't log in again. So let me try logging into this one.
It's 10 beard and beard shoe. I like that. Good job.
It's
Good
not
one,
about that
Kuhan.
too. There is a little bit of a beard prejudice here, Brian.
Well, look, I mean, they're the big stars. We're the little guys in radio.
If you're going to be on television, you need a beard.
Yeah, no, we're doing radio.
You want to
We're
hear
radio
my
trash.
beard story?
Oh yes.
Yes,
Tell your
tell
beard
me
story.
tell me all about her.
Yes, exactly. Well, wait a second.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah. I was hoping to God somebody went there. I would have been really depressed. So I go on. I'm supposed to go do morning stream. Monday morning is my little spot there, which your
Because
pals,
Brian,
DC
me,
Comics
Tom,
guy-
and Andrew this week will appear on the morning stream because that's just what we do. We're just guys who appear on the morning stream.
Yeah, no, that's I aspire to become one of those one of these days. As soon as so maybe I'll write my own song, Boodle Doddle Block.
I think all you need to do is get up in the morning and call Scott Johnson.
Basically.
We
What happened to
just lost.
Andrew.
Yeah, so long.
And shout F a dog. That's true.
Shwo.com, NSFW Show 3. Oh, that means I must be already logged in. That's what's going on.
So Tom, we made Scott Sigler cry with laughter last night.
Like, no exaggeration. Not like doing us a favor and pretending like he was so moved to laughter tears. Like, he was legitimately borderline injured by how funny last night was.
Okay, good. Because I invoiced him.
By the insinuation that that there was a meth addicted, lecherous gay cow voice. That was really what put him over the top. Was Carney Cow.
It was the
That's-
repeated use of
not funny.
Carney Cow, too.
It's just life.
Yeah,
Life,
exactly.
life at the fair, yeah. No, that's Carney Cow rolls like that.
Why is that funny?
Hey, was that on my end or your end, Andrew, that happened?
I don't know. It said that you went offline and came back, but if it's just me, then it's probably me.
Dude, I don't like the sound of this. I think we got us a mystery afoot here.
All right.
Okay.
Well, long story short, so morning stream, we do my little spot there, and I'm in the middle of a monster writing deadline. Actually supposed to have turned in my manuscript to my agents today, and I'm still late on it. But I decided not to shave while I was working on it, because I hate to be unshaven because it looks horrible and hideous.
Yeah.
So I'm unshaven, but then I'm kind of proud of the fact that I haven't shaved. I'm kind of proud of the fact that I've kind of got this sort of growth going on.
Yeah, you're feeling rough and
It's
tumble.
like playoff beard.
I'm not getting rid of this until I get this book out the door. And I'm like, oh man, I got to go do the podcast Monday morning. So I go and shave it.
Right, and it's just audio.
It's an audio podcast.
Oh!
I put up everything, did all that, cleaned that all up, shaved off the beard, and so that's why it's still not in. And I'm sure my agents will just love that. They'll totally understand.
Yeah.
They will.
And
They will. Absolutely.
you gotta understand, waking up for the morning stream, even though it's in mountain time, for me and Andrew is like chopping down trees at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get up
Dedication to
and I have to be ready by 8 a.m.
Oh God, yeah, because you're actually
Wait,
earlier than
do you
that,
really?
Yeah. I do my little morning stream in the morning.
Wait, you do a morning stream every morning?
Every Wednesday. Current Geek.
Okay. I thought
You don't
meant,
do one?
I thought you meant every single day.
Oh,
that,
not
that
every
you did. I was just like, wow, that's wow.
No,
That's like, wow.
no.
Okay, so I believe that I got it all happening, and this document that you send me, this is what we're going to launch into right away.
I believe so. I'm not looking at the document you're looking at. but
It's the big
if it's
document. It's
the
the
play-by-play,
document that I was
yeah.
supposed to have already committed to memory, but indeed have not.
No, you don't have to commit it to memory. Just
I
read it
say
off.
clearly, Andrew committed it to memory, so
Andrew's a monster. No one can be like him.
I did not commit it to memory. I only made that. That was a lie. I
Don't
said
beat yourself
to
up,
make
Brian.
feel insecure and inadequate.
You don't have the abs of Fabio either, but that's okay.
No, that's different, actually.
Abs of Fabio is actually my King Crimson cover band.
Oh, Brian, sit your pale ass down.
All right. All right. I think we're ready. I'm not
All
sure.
right.
We're like the Corsican brothers, only like in verse. To feel good, I've got to have you feel bad.
Oh, I got you. It took me a second. I'm like, those are the guys where you poked one, the other one felt it, and I don't know.
But it's inverse.
Yeah, no, I got it.
The Inversican brothers.
Okay, let's set levels real quick. Should I be recording this locally?
It couldn't hurt. I'm recording it on wiretap.
All right, hold
for
on.
audio. So
Yeah, let me get that way. I'll get you guys all back. See, now I lost Justin.
No. Sorry, that's my fault. My fault. Everybody. Hey.
What?
is that your crotch? What is that?
That's my daughter. Thanks for making that awkward.
Not you, Justin.
Like right here.
That's your daughter.
That's my daughter. That's
I wouldn't call that my daughter.
okay. Wow, it's an adorable picture of my daughter holding Fapper the dolphin, but you just
That's
made
your
it
daughter.
creepy. You made it creepy.
I wouldn't let my daughter touch Fapper.
That's
What
very.
kind of podcast thing is this, guys? 'Cause,
Now, does she eat dolphin? And a viral video is coming.
Yeah, no, it's like you just programmed.
I love those 70s and 80s kind of graphics and stuff. I used to love, remember like HBO, the whole thing. I watched the whole thing on like the making of that and all that because I'm just so.
Oh, is that the one where like it went through like the city and the suburbs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
That
you
was
ever
awesome.
did you ever see when the Totally Rad show did their opening based on that?
No.
That was awesome. We should.
You ever
look
see
at
the
this again.
AMC Midnight Movie Express they used to do?
No.
It was like this evil train. People were getting on board, and you would have all these characters from horror movies and stuff. I'll find the
awesome.
YouTube. It's really cool. It's really cool because like, and it's actually made by some guy I guess doesn't live too far from me, and it aired in like all the AMC theaters for years, and then it was they made it for nothing, but it was a really cool kind of movie quality, horror movie. It was this evil demon train people got onto, and it just like took them into like hell, and then burst through a movie theater, and people shrieked.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
This show has graphics like that, right, Tom?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I don't have time to get the crowd.
I've just been texted and told that we look awesome, just so you know.
Well, I mean,
good.
not me. Everyone but me.
I
These
believe-
guys, they're
Now,
talking
why
to
you
the
gotta
upper
do
crust
that,
again.
Yeah, Brian.
We look awesome. If you don't look awesome, we don't look awesome.
Yeah.
Brian.
Also, Brian, you're
Come
skinny.
on, wink, blink.
Oh, that's the Bennigan sound. That's the one that we thought was too small of a crowd.
I mean, Brian, you're not wearing a Team Bonsai headband, but
I'm jealous of your headband.
I go. Andrew is like what's the Arrested Development guy? Jason Bateman character from Dodgeball.
Oh yeah, he does.
I've just been told everybody except for Brian. Yes.
Oh. All right. Are we good?
I think so. Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn it over to you guys. You guys are in charge. I'm going to put you guys on the split screen.
All right.
You.
Ah! Sorry, warn me next time.
Oh no, that's right. I needed to start recording this and set levels. So let me open up this and let me press record. And
I
we are
don't like
recording.
where this French crime TV show's going.
Test. Test.
I smell fromage.
Yeah, I think you smell fromage quite a bit.
All right, Justin, give me some noise.
Check. 1, 2, 3. This is the FSL Championship Edition.
He was found face down in his poutine again.
All right, here we go.
Well, that's great.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Hold on. All right, and
790 Dragon Sports Talk Radio. Sports Talk Radio.
It was 3 a.m. when I heard the sound.
It's championship night for the FSL. Tom Merritt with you along with Justin Robert Young. Can you believe it, Justin?
Holy moly! A roller coaster of an FSL season is reduced to one game, and anybody, and I'll include myself in that, who thought this one was gonna be a blowout, Canton reduced those expectations to a Jungji Giswa Day.
I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I couldn't have even said that myself. What an ending to the championship game. What an ending to an incredible FSL season. But we'll get to that in the recap here, starting, Justin, with some pretty crazy pregame events.
Absolutely. You cannot tell the story of this game without bringing it back to a mysterious midweek incident. The Canton Janes backup big man Boggs breaks his leg. Now, there's accusations flying all about Mordor, who, by the way, let's not forget, has a history of injuring players. Luke Skywalker out for the season after playing the Mordor Crows. They've had a very shady organization, but Canton invokes Rule 5.04. Now, I will read this verbatim from the FSL rulebook. If any player is injured and prevented from playing in a postseason game as determined by league physicians, not team physicians, but league physicians, the player must or may be replaced only by a player who has not participated in any FSL games during the current season.
So a minor leaguer. It's got to be a minor leaguer.
Got to be a minor leaguer. Canton signs Legolas Wood from the Rivendell Fellowship to a temporary contract, and that brings us to game time.
All right, here's how the game went. The Janes got on the board early with a portentous scoring opportunity. Andrew Main with the call.
Andrew Main, who just dropped off the line. So let me get my co-host Andrew Main on here. This will be what we call an edit. Wait for it. Unless you want me to call it myself.
I'm back.
Wait.
Andrew Main.
All right. Ready?
Sorry, I just sat here and then it went away.
No, that's all right. Look, we gotta describe exactly how the game went. Take it away, Andrew.
Higgins feeds to Cobb, back out to Hessian. Wood trying to break open, but cannot seem to shake Shalab.
Oh my God, he is caught in her lair, Andrew. She's making a meal out of the minor leaguer.
Cobb once again from point and sees Higgins, but Wood breaks. Free and clear. Cobb sees him, takes a chance, and Wood scores! Can you believe it?
Andrew, I don't know where Sauron was looking, but somehow Wood just melted into the background and disappeared for a moment, reappeared from nowhere. Talk about stealth. Legolas Wood, Legolas Wood, Legolas Wood. The silent killer draws first blood for Canton.
The team struggled in a wary game of cat and mouse until deep into the second half when Saruman, in for a spell in place of Gorbag, put things even.
Sauron to Gollum. Gollum doesn't want to give it up. He's taking it, but Kessler stops him. Now Saruman has it. Fakes it to Angmar. Kressler's mesmerized, and
He thinks he has it. He thinks Angmar has it.
Saruman is on his own, and he scores! Saruman the White weaves a spell late in this match and changes the game for everyone.
Oh my God, that was a brilliant take. I've never seen anything like that. He absolutely deceived Kessler until it was too late to escape the trap, and Mordor is on the move.
But the fakes work in mysterious ways. Late in the game, with time running out, a decision had to come.
Wood and Jane have played this whole game like they were old teammates rather than two players that just met before the game.
It's true, Brian, but as much as they work the insides well, they cannot seem to pierce Shalab's web of defense. Now here's Hessian, back on top, and a pump fake. Now Wood to Jane, and they're working a complicated pattern.
I believe this one. Wait, whoa, it's a combination of the standard Rogue's Assault and the rare defense called the Silverlight Slip.
Whatever it's called has Shalab on the run. I can't even keep up. Who has it? Wood to Cobb, and back again. Shalab trips, falls, belly up, and Cobb scores! The time runs out, and that is the championship. Oh my Lord, to the right, and Austin brings down the Border Crows 2-1. Dare I say it, the Canton Janes are champions of the FSL.
Oh my God, what an ending! What an ending! What an ending!
And there you have it, folks. The Canton Janes, the most unlikely champions of the FSL. Justin, let's bring in that play-by-play team that brought us that historic call.
And what a call it was for what a game. Andrew Main and Brian Brushwood of the FSL, the Universe's Game of the Week. Thank you guys for joining us. Absolutely a stunner. The Canton Janes, champions of the FSL. Guys, what was it like calling such an event?
There are a few moments in your life, just Robert Young. And first of all, we should just say, Andrew and I both tremendous fans of both of you guys. We're really honored. I mean, we're a little bit geeked out that you guys would even have us on the show.
Hey, you're FSL Game of the Week, and we're geeked out too.
Well, no, you guys are the best. But I'm telling you, there's certain moments where history turns on a dime, and this was one of those moments. It was like being there with a front row seat for the assassination of JFK, but JFK catches the bullet, throws it back, and hits it right between the eyes of Lee Harvey Oswald. It was absolutely amazing.
I haven't seen a crowd this excited since the Death Star blew up over Endor, to be honest with you folks. And the changes that came about in the game, the late entrance of Legolas, let me tell you what, that was a game changer. And, we thought it was going to be a night won by magic, but it turns out not the way we thought. It was the magic of the Cantown Janes.
It's a true Cinderella story, only Cinderella has a goatee and his name is Jane.
That's exactly right, Brian. An alliance of elves and men brings down Mordor. Who would have thought? It's a cliche, but at the beginning of this season, Canton Janes off to horrible start. Talking relegation most of the season for them.
Oh, they've been dealing with
Mordor for the first time. Mordor was undefeated until tonight.
Listen, it's bad enough that the Canton Janes have to deal with allegations of corruption and betting illegally on the side. This is all just bad, sour grapes. This is a team that had talent, and they pulled it out when it really mattered.
Now, obviously, there is a lot of people that are going to say that the Canton Janes, at a final record of 5-6, are an improbable team to win the championship. Many think that they don't really have the rich tradition or history to overtake somebody with the rich tapestry of talent like Mordor. But going forward, do you think that this is a template that other franchises could emulate?
I think we've seen kind of an end maybe to the Mordor way of doing things, where you think you can buy, cheat, steal, corrupt the hearts of men and hobbits and everybody else to try to get the way you want. Not to mention their unethical training programs. We've seen some of those athletes they've been turning out, and we know those things aren't meant to be.
I'll tell you what, though. But I mean, look, a lot of people critique Sauron for his iron-fisted way of running his operation. And I tell you, it gets results in the short term. But you know what the Canton Janes had? They had heart. They worship that guy. They worship Jane. They believe, there's a reason they have a theme song and everything. I'm telling you, you can't. This is a case of love defeating evil.
I tell you who deserves a share of this championship winnings are the Vulcan Velocity. Okay, Canton makes the trade for Jane Cobb. Somehow Malcolm Reynolds upset with Cobb. They take advantage of that. That turns it around. But if the Velocity don't collapse at the end of the season, Canton has no way of becoming a playoff team. And then, we could talk about whether
I think you could say, hey, our favorite guy just got frozen in carbonite, and we don't happen to go to the playoffs. Otherwise, we would have it. This is the way the game is played. Okay?
Well, no, I'm with you there, Andrew. But I'm just saying, if Vulcan hadn't collapsed, Canton wouldn't be there. Vulcan can only blame themselves.
They can. And listen, folks, who would have ever thought when this season began with all these franchises that the most unlikely ragtag heroes might defeat the ultimate evil? It is something that is absolutely inconceivable.
It's unprecedented in the history of literature and sports. I don't think there's ever been a case where a ragtag collection of ne'er-do-wells were able to band together and in the most unlikely of conditions overcome
their differences.
Powerful foe. This is amazing.
Now, there are going to be some repercussions from this already. The rumors beginning to fly not even, that long after the end of this game that Morgoth may lose his job. He may be yanked from Mordor. That pretty much leaves Sauron in control. He's the team captain. Do we see him become a player coach?
All right, now let me tell you, here's one of those things that we're in the trenches. We're there. We report so many games. It's tough for us to keep track. You guys are the strategists. You guys are the ones looking at the big picture. I want to know where you think this is headed.
At the end of the day, there is the all-seeing eye. And I think he thinks he knows what is best for this team. I think he thinks he knows what's best for the entire FSL. I would not be shocked if anybody who stands in Saruman's way eventually, falls to his sway. There's no doubt in my mind that Morgoth yanked, Tom, is going to be a charitable term for what's going to happen to Morgoth after blowing this opportunity to seize the FSL championship.
I think also we got to remember that Saruman has a tendency to overestimate his strengths. He takes an advantage. He thinks he has it all the way. And, it comes to these great heights. The next thing you know, everything starts to turn on him around him. And I think that could happen here. He can, he's not Sauron. You know what I'm saying? He's Saruman. And so he's basically got some limitations there. And we'll see what's going to happen when he tries to, run this himself. But I think ultimately he's going to have to call in some help.
We're talking about Sauron. We actually are talking about Sauron taking over this team from Morgoth. But you're right about Saruman. You're right about this whole team being overconfident. One thing you keep in mind here, Sauron kind of was overlooked there in the end, and this may be one of the reasons he was so distracted on that last play, broke his ring finger. And it sounds like a minor injury, but it's the kind of thing you can't play this game with a broken ring finger, and it's going to take a while to heal. He's going to have to hole up. He may even miss the beginning of next season.
I mean, okay, there's a little bit of chatter out there I read the internet from time to time, and there are people saying it's awfully convenient that he just happened to break his ring finger. When this is a guy when has he ever broken a ring finger ever before tonight? And all of a sudden tonight's the night. All of a sudden, oopsie.
I mean, the one big time, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no athlete wants to blame injuries for a loss, but at the end of the day, it was pretty plain how ineffective Sauron was post what we are now can know to be that injury point. And I don't know what his strategy is going forward if he can't get that back to 100%.
I'll tell you what, though, it's neat to see somebody care. Nobody likes to see an injury on the field, but that moment when the ring finger gets broken, people rush out to take care of him. I was overwhelmed with this feeling of just how precious that was. That was really something.
Absolutely. No, it's a good word for it. And
I feel like running out there to join them.
It's one of the few times we see that kind of element of the Mordor Crows. They're always the evil empire, right? They're always the people that buy their way to the championship, but not this year. And let's talk about the champions. We're sitting here talking about the losers. The Canton Janes, they maybe don't win this championship without an unfortunate accident for Boggs.
Yes.
And
no.
Legolas Wood looked like he'd been playing with Cobb for his entire career.
You really can't overstate the importance and the impact of Legolas on this game. This guy plays with an experience of decades, if not centuries, of wisdom. He is an absolute gamer that just steps in and made a pinpoint impact on winning this championship for Canton.
Absolutely. And let's also not forget, though, that Legolas Wood will not be on the Canton Janes at the beginning of next season.
Are you saying
possible?
Are you saying this is
impossible? But it's possible, maybe not likely, that Rivendell could be promoted. But either way, Wood's contract goes back to Rivendell. This is a temporary situation that he was even playing in this game.
Are you saying
was a rent elf?
Are you saying that this is the Fantasy Illustrated curse, where it's like now that they're going to be on the cover of the magazine, they're doomed for next year?
Well, that may play into it, right? There's questions about whether Cobb sticks around. We don't know all the details of his contract and that trade. There's questions. There's certainly not going to be a Legolas Wood. Boggs will be back. He will recover.
Well, wait about on the Legolas thing. Is Rivendell going to look at this? Are they going to try to cash out on this? If they let him go of his contract for an exchange, if they can get some players, and could they possibly do some sort of negotiation to make them step up in the leagues?
Well, now that's an interesting thought. Canton can't afford Legolas. They can barely afford Jane. But does Rivendell sell
might
Legolas?
Not be around next year.
Say to Mordor.
Now, hold on. When you say Canton might not be around, wait, explain
that. Sauron would go that far to rebuild the team?
I don't know. It's an intriguing thought, though.
Goblin hybrid.
Listen, I don't think that there's anything that Sauron will be perfectly happy to spread around the wealth of whatever ring of influence he has to make sure that Mordor is a force next season. But my point, Tom, is, and we mentioned this in last week's episode, in the run-up to this game, these rumors of slave labor, of child slave labor on Canton are not going away. And, if you hear the back channels like we do, this is something that could fold the team. This is not a off-season.
Look, no. Okay, there's. I had the opportunity to interview some of the folks over there, and they make it clear. It's like there's kids there, but they're just horsing around. There's not actually slave labor.
And I think we're looking something. Canton's a moon, and its orbit of its major planet is something like once every 13 or 14 days. And so those kids, by their standards, are like in their hundreds.
Or are they? I mean, if a day is 2 weeks
could
long,
absolutely see Canton trying to make that argument.
They're a year,
the
13,
FSL
one orbit around their
front office
primary gravity. That's the explanation I was given. I'm willing to buy it. And if you want to, step on their victory, that's fine. There's going to be these allegations to come out about cheating and everything else that goes on there. But
yeah, look, I'm going to say it's too early. It's too soon for you guys to be leaking this kind of stuff.
Listen, I'm repeating the information that's out there, folks. I'm just asking questions. At the end of this offseason, is there going to be a champion, or are we going to have a vacated title? Not to say that the Mudders shouldn't celebrate tonight. Milk it up, kids. It's going to be a party in Jamestown this evening. However, looking forward, I don't know if the question should be, can they afford Legolas? I don't think the question is, can they afford Jane? The question is, can they put a team on the field by interstellar law?
Listen,
I mean, the fact that a grievance has been filed is not speculation. That has happened. Whether the league will take it up, we have to wait and see. Whether the league would then determine that there was foul play, we'd have to wait and see. Canton gets to keep their title either way. So, yeah, drink up your milk, folks. But it could prevent them from playing next year. And just to play out the thread, not because we're saying this is going to happen, but Alderaan and Kronos are now relegated. One team is going to be voted in by the fans. And in fact, the Betelgeuse Hitchhikers are now leading in that poll. Another team will be promoted based on their performance. If the Canton Janes were then disqualified, again, a big if, there would be a third team promoted. Jane Cobb is going to leave the Janes, whatever his contract says. Best possible scenario, he goes back to the Fireflies. What if Rivendell were promoted?
I mean, you got me. Look, you guys are the...
If we're going to play hypotheticals here, are we going to have a Canton tomorrow? Because we know how Mortar handles these losses, okay? Next thing you know, there's going to be a scouring, and coincidentally, it'll be in the winning team's place.
Oh no, but let's face it, though. Let's face it. I mean, the bulk of Sauron's power was right there in that ring finger. He's clearly weakened right now. His whole team is in disarray. I don't think we're going to be hearing much from them for another 1,000 years. I think they're out of the picture.
Well, and let's buy into the rumors that it was at the hand of Sauron that Boggs got injured that brings in Legolas Wood to this game, and all of a sudden they're a better team because all they had to do is pay a player for one game as opposed for an entire season. If he takes out half the Canton squad, they bring in the Wayland and Utani Space Marines. I think Newton Hicks are an immediate upgrade to anybody on that Canton roster right now, save for Jane.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break and thank our sponsor, because now that the FSL is wrapped up, it's time for football, ladies and gentlemen. The Galactic Football League. You're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it. And these books are available in print. They're available in ebook, and the best way to enjoy them is audiobook, right, Justin?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, these aren't just regular audiobooks. They're enhanced with ambient noise. You're gonna feel when you're out there. You're driving or you're working out or you're doing whatever you do while you listen to these audiobooks, that you are in the stadium, you are at the game, you are on the field watching and experiencing these contests. And the story, the universe is amazing. It's Scott Sigler's GFL series. And you need to get it right now.
Yeah, go check it out, scottsigler.com, SCOTTSIGLER.com. Available in bookstores everywhere, available on Audible, but available on Podiobook. Go check out the GFL. You need something to fill your time between FSL seasons. This is the thing, folks. Don't wait. Go, scottsigler.com. We thank Scott and the GFL for their support of FSL tonight. Shall we take some calls, gentlemen?
Absolutely. In fact, right now we have on the line, I don't know whether to give his code name or his given name. Is there one or the other I should provide here? We're getting him right there on the line.
First
Let's
name
go
is
with the
fine.
code name.
Whatever.
All right, we
Hello?
got right now we're bringing up Dan right now. He indicated that he had something he wanted to chime in on. However, we're trying to get him on the line. I'm not seeing anything. We might have to jump over to the next
You
caller
want to know
right
what?
here.
At the end of the day, here's my question. Obviously, this is a monumental victory for Canton and a historic one for the FSL. But is it a good thing for the FSL that, number one, a team that is under this kind of cloud of suspicion and wouldn't have won this game if it weren't for the fact that there was a crazy injury so late in the game? Is it a good thing for the FSL to set this precedent?
Well, I don't quite understand your question. They're setting a precedent by following the rules, playing the game the way the game's meant to be played.
But, I mean, are they really true champions? Are they true champions? Can you look at this as an FSL fan and be happy with the person that you saw win your tournament?
Well, this is the way the game is played, right? Injuries happen. You can't ask a team to go out there with one fewer player than the other side. So you've got to do your best approximation. Now, the way this is supposed to work is your injured team's still at a little bit of a disadvantage because they're going to have to go to a minor leaguer. They're not going to be able to bring in a ringer from somewhere else in the FSL. But you give them carte blanche to sign whoever.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, gentlemen, we got David on the line right now. David, are you there? Caller, live. Are you there?
Yeah, guys. Hey, Justin. Hey, Brian. Hey, Andrew. Thanks for taking my call. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
First time, long time, of course. Love the show. I want to talk a little bit about going into next season and the teams that were on the poll. And I saw one team, and I thought to myself, wow, really? The league is caving in this quickly? Really? And there's only one team. I saw all of the rest, the Time Lords, the Niners, the Hitchhikers, and they all looked great. But I saw one team, and I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous.
I think I know where you're going with this one.
All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And hey, if it falls on me, it falls on me. The Ponyville Phillies.
Oh, my
Really?
God. Are you serious? Listen, look, say what you will.
Okay, I get it. They got Rainbow Dash, the #1 overall pick in the draft. Rainbow Dash is awesome. Rainbow Dash is going to be a star. She's going to be the next Luke Skywalker, the next Malcolm Reynolds. I get it. But who else do they have? They need another couple of years of free agency and draft
Can I answer
picks.
this? I think that's already been settled this season. You know what they have? They have heart. They have heart. And if anything took Jamestown all the way, that was it.
No, listen,
And so I'm voting for the Little Ponies.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree with Andrew. You got some real bright spots there. Fluttershy is certainly an underrated.
Fluttershy, come on, Justin. Fluttershy.
Oh, no, listen, no, hang on. Now,
Underrated, and I think at the end of the day that you're going to see a lot more bro hoofs after goals next season if they are, advanced to the major leagues than you think. I mean, they're a dangerous team.
I'm telling you, look, I've seen the bond that they have, and their friendship is nothing short of some kind of mystical connection. There's some word I'm searching for, but I can't quite get it. But the point is like they're all there. They have some kind of bond, and they work as a team. It's unreal.
And
the
they
fans
have a
see it, the
very
bronies see
loud
it.
fan base, okay? You're going to hear from these folks. You see them all over the FSL Tonight boards, and that's the kind of excitement you want in the league. So if they were to get promoted, either through the fan vote or through the complicated system of earning it, the way the league usually determines it, I think they'd make a fine entry. I think they'd make a better entry than the Canton Janes, who are the champions right now.
Okay, now, there's no need to be trashing all over the Janes. I mean, look, this is their moment in the
They're
sun.
the
I thought we
champions.
agreed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get
Although
I will
don't mean
say,
to damn with faint
if
praise
you match
there, right?
them.
But look,
Match them up against Gallifrey, match them up against the Hitchhikers. I don't know if they stand up to some of the other teams. I don't know if you play them heads up, them and Casterly Rock. if you're going to come out with a Brony victory.
Now, let me tell you this much.
I think there are better options right now, but they're more dangerous than you think.
Now, hold on. You guys are talking about from a chance at actually taking the pie story here. You got to look at the whole picture. Whether or not you believe they've got the goods to go all the way, the point is the fans want interesting stories to happen, and there's nothing. A polarizing element like bringing in the Phillies is going to cause it to be a more interesting season. You're going to have scuffles at the top and the bottom, and I, for one, am for it.
Well, all I got to say is I never want to see the Phillies and the Dire Wolves play, because that's just not going to be pretty.
Well, anytime the Phillies play is hardly pretty. Well, except for when they play like scrimmages, and they really do play very elegantly.
And they break out into song.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Dave. Appreciate it. I'll tell you what, next up on the line, we got, I'm going to give Patrick a call here. Let me get him up here, and there we go. And we'll have him up here momentarily.
I'll tell you what, and I don't want to, take away some of the excitement of the Canton victory. I'd love to have some Mutters fans call in, but you really have to look at, if you look at next season, a lot of stuff there. And like Brian said, there are so many different opportunities. I wish that we could script this stuff. Okay. It's just the way that the dominoes have fallen this season have been absolutely amazing, and it's really going to be interesting to see. With all the new additions, we could have as many, let's say the Canton stuff is true, as many as 3 new teams next year. That really reshapes this league.
And we're talking about realignment. No matter what happens, Canton's issues or not, we're going to see a change in the alignment for next year, and that's not unusual with promotion. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Mordor put into the East, where I think everyone agrees they belong.
All right, we got Patrick on the line. Patrick, chime in. What do you got for us, buddy?
Well, guys, love the show. We had an awesome party here while we watched, and we're all Mutters fans, rooting for the underdog. So we were
congratulations,
thrilled with the outcome.
Patrick.
Milk it up.
Yes. Oh, man, so much milk flowing. But we were thinking there's so many championship teams that after they win, they lose all their players. Now, assuming Canton is allowed to continue, which they better be because they're awesome, do you think that the players will stay on the team, or you think they'll go with some other teams? I don't know whose contract is up, but I'd like to hear what you guys think.
Well, looking at their cap situation right now, by and large, a lot of their players, in fact, 90% of the roster, except for Jane Cobb, is fairly cap friendly. And by fairly cap friendly, they work for literally nothing. If you look at a player like Hessian, he is, in legal trouble to the point where he's playing as a way to secure his release. So you're okay on all your role players. However, that's the role-playing roster that was leading to relegation before they could secure Jane Cobb. At the end of the day, I don't think that Jane Cobb is a guy who really values loyalty all too much. I think he loves playing in Canton. Obviously, he's a guy with a Euro complex.
I can't believe the backlash we're getting tonight, for the Canton win. And this talk about Jane not having loyalty, I think it's just... I think he's got heart, and I think the loyalty is where he gets it from.
Well, now, hold on. I think that there's an important question to be asked here. When you look at the cast of characters associated with the Canton Janes, I just have this bizarre feeling that they're just going to go their separate ways. That they'll be all involved in different teams, different projects, going in different directions. And I think it's great that they all came together for this win. But I feel like this is going to be the highlight. This will be the moment. And then after this, I do think that there's a good chance they're going to go their separate ways.
Well, now Coach Higgins has an interest in the team, so he's not going anywhere. Which means Fess Higgins is not going to go anywhere. So those two are solid. After that, Stitch Hessian, as you mentioned, there's a very intricate contract that Justin mentioned. So could Kessler go somewhere? Sure. The foreman, I can't imagine him playing outside.
These are guys who have played their entire careers there.
Yeah, he just seems tied to that team. Hames, Boggs, Barrelfist, nobody even knows who those guys are. So I don't know who's going to make him an offer.
Yeah,
people are going to know who they are tonight.
You're going to have people that want a championship-proven talent. But, and I know, listen, I'm going to get emails for this. But, yes, Jane is very happy now. Jane, and if you were to believe the gossip sheets, is at the bars of Canton and lapping in.
Don't bring up the prostitution allegations about the frequently in those places. I mean, it's old news. It's old news.
But it's facts.
But
I mean,
he's not a guy who has made a reputation by setting down roots and following through on loyalty. If you look at the discontent, he was a leading scorer for the Serenity Valley Fireflies in the middle of the season and was so detrimental to their team that they shipped him out for nothing. This is not a locker room guy. He produces on the field, but at the end of the day, he's going to play for whoever gives him the highest price.
But, your example you just gave it sounded like they gave up on him because they didn't see the talent that he had. And we saw what happened, and we found a group of people who saw what he could do, who saw in him, believed in him, what they were capable of doing, and look what happened tonight.
Absolutely. You can't argue with that.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much for the call, man.
Yep, we got next up. We're gonna get Justin on the line here. I'm gonna hit him up right here.
A different Justin, obviously.
No, I think actually it may be. Look, a lot of funny things happen in this league. You never know. Could be a different time, a different place, a different Justin. For all we know, he's now towel boy for the Gallifrey Rebels over there.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Gallifrey is not yet in the league, so unless maybe they will be, and I'm coming back.
All right, let me get them on the line. For some reason, we're having some technical difficulties here. Bunch of people gave us a shout and are not picking up the line here, which is a little bit weird. Which is why maybe we should have people call into us.
We're just getting crushed here. Obviously, this is our biggest broadcast of the year, and we're very excited to hear from everybody. If you have not gotten through, please continue to try and reach our operators here. It's been an absolute privilege to hear from so many of you throughout the season. And I guarantee you that we will get to as many of you as we can before we are out of time tonight. Tom, let me just ask you this while we are waiting for the phone to get connected.
We do have Justin on the line, though. Whenever you
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Justin, you there, buddy?
Yeah, big fan, guys. I love the show. Love what you're doing out there with this.
Thank you.
Hey,
thanks.
I just wanted to make a comment. I mean, obviously, nobody could have predicted how this season was going to come out. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I had mentioned on a few forums and some posts that, I thought maybe the Rebels were going to make a run for it. I thought maybe Vulcan could be on top. Whoever would have thought that the Mutters were going to make this thing all the way? I mean, total Cinderella story, completely out of left field with this one. But, you got to give those guys props for the skill that they showed out on the field today. And, the fans are going to love them. But I think it breaks down to, the curse after a winning season. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it with other teams. That big star gets his picture on the cover of a game or a magazine, and then everybody just starts falling apart. Obviously, there's some locker room drama there, but the big story here is who's going to make it in for next season. I would like to see the Shannara Swords. I think that you could have some very strong players coming in with some of those big names that came out of Shannara early on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Shannara obviously has got some backing out there. What we're hearing from the league, and they don't give exact numbers out though. They only tell you who's in the lead, and that's been Betelgeuse. We've heard about that, and then they tell you who else is drawing votes. And when you look at that, Rivendell, Sunnydale, Ponyville, Babylon, Winterfell, Gallifrey, Wayland-Yutani. Shannara isn't mentioned. Now, it doesn't mean they're not drawing any votes. It means that they're just not in the pack there. So I don't know if that means that, the Shannara folks are resting on their laurels and thinking everybody else is going to vote for them. I don't know, but they're not surging to the fore.
Well, I just got to say this for the Shannara fans. If you guys want to see these guys coming up, moving up into the division, you guys got to get out there and vote. But as far as some of the other names, I mean, Yutani, they always put forth a really strong team. A lot of those guys are ex-military. I got nothing but respect for them. And Gallifrey always coming up there. They're kind of a questionable. You don't know who they're going to field, what names are going to put out there, but always putting forth a good show. So, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen next season. I think Mordor got it. I think they deserve what they got this year. And props to the Mutters, man. You guys rocked. Congratulations on picking up your hero there. And hopefully this works for you guys. And don't bathe in the limelight too much, but enjoy this little 15 minutes that you got there.
You know,
Hey, thanks for that.
Just as a
Good
question, looking
point.
at
Let them enjoy their day.
some of the popularity for Wayland Yutani coming up there, and this brings back. I remember a while back we had a problem with the Terrell Corp where they managed to put together a pretty good team on the field a long time ago, and then they just made replicants of everybody they liked and tried to sell them, and that just ruined a whole season because of that. Are we gonna have that problem with Wayland Yutani?
Well, you know what? Not only with Wayland Yutani, that's a really good point, Andrew. But Mookow bringing this up in the chat room, and this has been all over the forums. Does Gallifrey jive with the FSL resurrection regulations? Is it going to be one guy and a bunch of companions, or is it going to be 9 guys from different eras in time? I mean, this
or the same guy 9 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Who somehow knows all the plays.
Yeah, when you're talking about time travel, there's some very strict rules about that, and that's always been the knock on Gallifrey being in the FSL.
And they will tell you, and as all my Gallifrey sources have, that games are in a fixed point in time, and they cannot change a fixed point in time. However, there are skeptics around that say that maybe they can play fast and loose with what exactly is fixed and what exactly can be changed.
Well, and it reminds me of the first Cylon ruling 30 years ago about what's the difference between a resurrection versus downloading your consciousness into another operational body, and it's a thin line that you run in the league.
And we had the problem when the team went to free agency because they're able to make multiples, which brings up that problem of just ruining the finances, the economics of the game.
Well, and keep in mind, ruining is a funny word because there are certain people, the people who play the multiple leagues, and there are individual leagues, they say that they're playing a higher plane of the game. They're saying it's entirely different when you're one consciousness manipulating 12 bodies at the same time. And to them, I give it to, that's fine. That's for them. But we need to decide what's right for the FSL.
What, don't you think Serenity Valley would have loved to be able to sell Jane Cobb to Canton and keep Jane Cobb on the team?
You know what? In certain markets, I think that could happen. But obviously, didn't this year, as far as we know.
And as far as Justin's opinion on, Jane's personality and buying into the hype that he's this rogue bad guy.
He's a locker room cancer. He delivered tonight, and he delivered through the latter part of the season. That is undeniable. But what's also undeniable is this man's history, his stated multi-year history of doing nothing but selling his teammates short, looking to jump ship whenever they can. Malcolm Reynolds is a stand-up player. And granted, he didn't have the season that he wanted in the playoffs this year, but he is about as good and as true of a captain as anybody can certainly hope for. And he showed this guy the door for a song. And you have to question to yourself, if Malcolm Reynolds can't put this guy in a box, who else can?
I got to agree with Justin there. Jane Cobb, he only produces when he's happy and when he's getting paid.
Well, that's the nature of free agency. That's what it means to be a free agent. You don't go around beholden to one team or the other. This is not war. These are not real tribes battling for their sovereignty.
Well, we might be confused that it's war because, when their hero walks around running in, an old war uniform, guess what? It's over. Move on.
Well, yeah, obviously, there's deep-seated psychological issues with Malcolm Reynolds. I don't think any of us would dispute that. There's a reason he's such a mercurial figure, and to be honest, there's a case that could be made that maybe Jane Cobb made the right decision by distancing himself from that level of psychosis.
We don't hear people talk about Mal Reynolds' connections to organized crime either, which are prolific.
Well, okay, now hold on. We don't want to be in trouble for any of that.
Listen,
if you're going to bring it up about Cobb.
Look, people.
I'm talking about what's on the field. I'm talking about what's on the field, and what Jane, the line that Jane crossed, spilled out into him being a complete malcontent and a non-factor on the field. Let me say, for the Serenity Valley Fireflies through the latter part of his tenure with that team.
Malcontent, maybe that was the problem.
Oh, all right. Real quick, also, let's just do a real quick mention. Obviously, a lot of people watch the FSL Championship for the commercials. I have to say, that Fruity Oaty bar.
Oh, my God. We actually have it right here. They posted it on the YouTubes. You want to see it?
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, let's go and run it right now. Dude,
it's a big part of the championship.
Half of the people, they say they watch the show just for the commercials. Here we go.
Fruity Oaty bars make a man out of a mouse. Fruity Oaty bars make you bust out of your glass. Hear 'em all the time. Let 'em blow your mind.
My favorite part was when they clearly stated that it was non-mandatory. That's it's classic. Classic.
I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they're singing. I don't know what they're selling, but I love it and I want some of it.
You know, the weirdest thing happened. I watched this and I went home and I just beat the crap out of anyone I saw. Did anyone else feel a little bit weird like that?
You know, that's funny. I kind of almost did the same thing myself.
No, it was very weird. Very weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, while we're waiting for our next caller, I want to bring up another topic. And Brian, just let me know when we got him on.
You got it.
But we do. Okay.
No. I'm saying you got it. I'll let you know.
Okay. Eric Keene.
Yeah.
The Arrakis Sandworms. Carthag. It really is developing now. Since we talked to you last week in the semifinals, basically the ownership of the Arrakis Sandworms has all but offered the team to Leto Atreides.
I've been on the record talking about how unprofessional I think Coach Baron Harkonnen has been, specifically through the beginning parts of the season and in the playoffs. I don't think that you can lead a team the way that he has, and his final comments at the end of his playoff exit to Mordor, where he's screaming and yelling about hostages, is just you can't field an effective playing unit. I think that this team is better served under House Atreides.
Hang on, real quick. You're talking about the Arrakis Sandworms going to Leto, right?
Well, yeah, we're talking about, the Sandworms play in Carthag right now.
Sure.
The word on the street is that the ownership will be removing Harkonnen and offering the team to Atreides to coach, and then he would move the team to Arrakeen.
All right, now here's
much
the
smaller
thing.
venue.
Here's the thing you guys got to realize. When you go and you meet with the Sandworms, they are a culture of a team that is there for themselves. They are by, of, and for themselves. And if you think that they ever owed an allegiance to the Harkonnens, then you're mistaken. And if you think they're going to suddenly turn over their allegiance just because they're going to Leto Atreides, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and remember, too, the problem with Sandworms, they're very much a team that plays best at home. When you take them outside of that environment, they tend to fall apart.
No, it does. And I understand. I understand.
The
There's
Sandworms already, which is their historic name. But remember, they've been the Arrakis Barons since Coach Harkonnen took over the team.
Yeah, but what's
I think
in
there's some psychological
I think you guys
here, show.
I think you guys are missing the big story, and that is, of course, the charges of doping and chemical enhancement in all of the Sandworms. There's the word that they're spicing on the field. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, and that they're using predictive abilities and an enhanced chemical warfare in effect. And I don't know if that's going to stand.
And the talk about the loyalty to Harkonnen, let's be honest here. We've heard the allegations about some of his training techniques and some of the things he does to his players to get their allegiance, heart plugs. So I think maybe Leto might be the better choice here.
I don't think that anybody who has any kind of sense of this team would argue with that, Andrew. I think that you are absolutely 110% right. And when this team, I'm going to predict it, when this team is in the hands of Leto Atreides, they are going to be a very formidable, especially if realignment does not happen and they stay in the same division with Mordor, that they are going to be my preseason favorite, re-energized with the ringless Sauron leading the now disorganized and humiliated Mordor Crows.
Well, if the Crows go to the east and Arrakis stays in the west division, all of a sudden they're the best team in that division.
Look, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the switchboards have totally lit up. We got 3 people waiting on the line. First up, we're going to go to Paul. Paul, did you have something to chime in with us?
Hey guys, it's Paul from Mordor.
Oh, Paul,
oh my gosh, rough night for you, man.
I just have never seen a team with so much capability melt down. I mean, what was going on with Gorbag? In these big games, a utility player has to pick it up and perform. And he was just dead out there. Dead.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you.
You can smell that.
You could talk about, and we did talk about this a lot, about the effect of Legolas Wood on Canton. But what about the collapse of the Mordor offense?
Yeah, we've seen hints of this throughout the later parts of the season and the playoffs. They've continued to play more and more tight games than before early on when they were absolutely blowing teams out. I think you really have to look at this team and say, how well do they handle pressure? How well do they handle someone really coming into their house, dictating terms, and doing what they want? I think that you've seen a lot of holes, and you've seen the true character of the Mordor Crows, that when somebody really, really, really puts forth the effort, they will absolutely implode from the inside.
All right, real quick, and I just before we let you go, we got a lot of calls to get to. What was it like there, boots on the ground? You're at the bars, you're watching the event live. Walk us through what it was like to watch that disappointment.
I was there. I was at the game.
Oh.
So I saw the whole thing develop. I walked in. I went to the concessions before the game. I got my Vitality drink. I got my roast flesh. And I was ready for a massacre. Just a bloody nightmare massacre. And then, oh, God. And
Wow.
then, Gollum. What happened with him? Where was he?
It was like he was a
a
whole other
versatile
person,
player, but tonight we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Was he like in a cave somewhere? I mean, what the hell was going on?
No, it's a
All
good
right,
point.
guys, I gotta go.
All right, no, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Number one, very rare do we get any show of emotion from any Mordor fans, as we've seen throughout this.
Well, I mean,
this show.
now you say that, but when they are they feel maligned, I mean, they can get riled up pretty quickly. I mean,
I'm getting text messages saying that Mordor fans are already outside of Canton with torches. Maybe it's hearsay, maybe it's speculation, but that's a lot of emotion there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in terms of any kind of weakness, I guess would probably be the better way to say that. They certainly have emotion. They very rarely show anything other than any emotion other than rage and contempt. However, if you talk about Gollum is a very important side story to this this final game. He's a player that always has been known as a distracted, operative on the field.
It's been accused that he's a ball hog. It's been accused that he doesn't have his head in his game, and that he might be a little bit touched in the head. But I'll tell you what, we actually have. In fact, maybe we can get our newest caller, Joey, to chime in on this. Joey, are you there for us, buddy?
Yeah, I'll just comment. I think we only really saw one side of him tonight, and as much as I think this was really the night for Cam, I was a little bit surprised.
Okay, hold on. Somebody's a little bit. We might have some time dilation here. This happens from time to time, especially in broadcasts of this nature. Can you hear us, buddy?
Sorry, Joey, turn down your radio.
Yeah. Turn down your radio, caller, and listen to the words we're saying to you. Yeah. You'd think one thing would change in this business. 20,000 years.
All right. Sorry, there's some explainer traffic on thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Joey, what do you got for us?
Speak your mind,
Quickly.
Joey. Go. All right. Look, listen. We got one rule on our program, and Andrew and I have been back and forth on this all the time. You guys, of course, you got your highfalutin television show broadcasting all over the place where it's all professional, and you guys are in a real studio. This is how it is on the lower regs radio throughout the galaxy. We get these goofballs calling in. They don't know. We say one thing. Have a position and don't be bad.
Yeah, but then again, the reach of our signal kind of goes out pretty far, and sometimes you get some nebula interference, and in their defense, you do get the dilation like you mentioned, you get solar flares, and so I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt.
All right, look, forget it. No, we got someone else. We got Tim on the line. Tim, are you there for us, buddy?
Okay, hello, Tim, gentlemen. Hello.
Hey, what's up,
Tim?
So thank you for having me on the show. Just wanted to make a comment and pose a question. To me, this season, there were two really big things. Of course, the Jane trade, and then freaking Ben Kenobi not playing Luke Skywalker. And I want to know which one is the worst blunder. I know, Justin, you were just saying that defending Mal, but really he cost himself a chance at the title here. And of course, Ben Kenobi lost his job. We don't even know where he's at. There's a huge complication there, and of course they got relegated. So both teams paying a heavy price for their coaches' decisions. Which one was hindsight is 2020, but which one was worse?
I'll tell you, Tim. I think you make a really good point here. Serenity Valley went to the playoffs. They missed their chance to go to the championship. So I think it's pretty obvious Ben Kenobi's worse screw up.
Oh no! Let me tell you.
Here.
Look, poor Skywalker.
Alderaa's getting relegated when they could have been in the playoffs.
I'll tell you this much: Skywalker really missed the boat here, and I think he's going to be haunted by the ghost of Kenobi for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you what: if you believe the rumors that are coming through through some of the Alderaan media that Kenobi is calling himself Old Ben in a cave on Tatooine, I think that right now you know exactly where this is where that has led him. He completely mismanaged his team. He left a star player on the bench, and now he's living 2 feet from his house, pooping in a cave. This guy is an absolute failure.
Now keep in mind,
one thing you guys have to know. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Well, yeah, I was just saying that there was that tension about his training methods. Some people thought they were a bit antiquated.
Yep.
Some people thought that they were behind the times.
Well, and also, I mean, there's the general consensus is that Skywalker's training was not complete, and you don't put someone in the game when they're not ready to go. But at some point, you got to regret your conservatism, and there's only so much you can do when you're not even with the team anymore.
Does he need another influence? Mortar.
One thing people may not realize, Alderaan, of course, we know they're relegated. They will not be in the FSL. They'll be playing in the minors. Have announced a move to Yavin for the next season.
And
I think
that's
kind of an out-of-the-way place for them. I'm surprised.
Well, yeah, the position they're in, they need to, what's left of their organization needs to regroup. They need to come up with a plan. And if they're going to have a chance in the league.
Destroyed this season.
Blow up the team. Blow up the team. You got to blow up the team and reorganize it.
I don't know.
That's the only way to do it.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Phoenix story coming out of the Alderaan organization. Obviously, they got utterly destroyed, but I wouldn't mind if the remnants of what was came back and mounted a Jane story to win it all over again. You never know.
Yeah, so that's where they're going to be. They're going to be in Yavin. If you heard they were moving to Dantooine, that was a rumor, not true.
It's far too remote.
I heard a wild one about Hoth. Just telling it right now. I heard Hoth, which...
they did look at Hoth, and they haven't ruled it out as a possibility if Yavin weren't to work out for some reason.
So are we in agreement? Is there any chance that what remains of if we're just going to give a thumbs up, thumbs down, what are the odds that the Janes have a chance next year?
Well, if they keep Jane Cobb, if they fight off these allegations of misappropriation of child labor, I think they have a chance. I wouldn't call them favorites by any stretch, but they showed that with Jane Cobb, they can win games. And even if they won't have Legolas Wood, they'll have Jane Cobb for an entire season next year.
Fair enough.
If you look at how they won their games, it was on the back of a historic run from Jane. If you think that he can replicate that as distracted of a player as he can be, even if they can keep him, I really think if they can approach 500 throughout the regular season, that's going to be a really, really big achievement for them. But, I've been on the record. I don't know if they're playing. I really don't think that these kind of allegations go away.
All right, hang on. We got Tim back on the line. He says he was able to configure his transmitter and it should be a much better signal. Tim, are you there for us, buddy? No, I'm sorry. This is Joey. Joey, are you on the air?
Joey, go ahead.
Joey, come on, buddy. You sent me the text saying
reverse the polarity.
Yeah,
Joey.
Said working this time much better. Not looking like
Joey.
it.
You can't stop the signal.
2. Apparently, you can stop the signal, and the way you do it is by not transmitting anything because you don't know how to work your freaking communications unit.
Hey, be easy on the guy, right? He's probably off in a distant.
It's the most important night of the entire league. You learn how to use your communicator. That's all.
He might be calling from Reaver space for all we know.
Well,
what about the upset over the sports book on this game tonight?
No, you're right. This was a massive line, and really, I think there's going to be a lot of bookmakers that are losing their shorts tonight. It's an absolute upset, the likes of which the FSL has never seen.
I'll tell you what. Let's bring back on Tim in there. Tim, you got something else for us, buddy?
I'm just surprised that you guys haven't given Mal much grief here. I mean, he traded away a player who's obviously controversial. He's tough in the locker room. He's very hard to deal with. But they didn't really have a replacement. I mean, River Tam, yeah, she's a wonderful bench player.
The wild card.
But
are you kidding me?
in the big man role, though,
I thought she was amazing in the big man role. Obviously not last week, not enough anyway. But I think a lot of people see the upside there as being better than Jane Cobb.
Well, and if you look at what they did in the regular season post Jane trade, they really their offense played better than it did when Jane was on the team, and it comes down to one game. You would like to have players that are more reliable. Obviously, River Tam is not somebody that has ever been a player that can turn it in and turn it on every single game. She takes games off. She's passive one minute. She's an absolute beast the next. But, Mal made a decision to choose loyalty and respect over talent. And, I think he was looking to avoid a sudden but inevitable betrayal. And ultimately, it might have ended up costing him a championship. But that's the decision he made.
We got another one of those big highfalutin commercials from the big game last night. Take a look at this.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
It's back. Big is back because bigger is better. 6000 SUX, an American tradition.
And I'll tell you, man, 8.2 miles per gallon. That is a dream boat. That's going to be huge.
And boat's the word, too.
Absolutely. We got Dan on the line. Dan, what do you got for us, bud?
Hey, I think this game just showed that the sports world is changing, right? We can feel it in the air. We can feel it in the water. What do you guys think with the makeup of the teams going forward? Are we going to see teams adjust to mimic what the Janes were doing, or are we going to see a return to the old ways and the ways that are long forgotten because everyone who was around when they were going is long since dead?
I don't know if the Canton example is one that is particularly smart to replicate. If you look at them being one of the most atrocious teams in FSL history through the first half of the season and holding up a miracle run.
That's one way you could put it, but another way would say that they diversified their assets and they took a lot of risky propositions hoping that one of them would pay off. And I actually think it's a strategy that we're going to see more teams emulate, including the possibility of a resurgence from the former Alderons.
I think, that they talk about the Quatlu ball concept going forward and people kind of looking at the way you arrange your players. And I think there's something to that. The idea that sometimes at first you don't think it's working out. You think it players in the wrong positions and stuff, and you have a disastrous season, but flip it around and win. And I think that's what shows. Now, I think they knew what they're doing.
If I can interject right here, and this is something we've talked about on our program an awful lot, Andrew, and you obviously are not, you're very partisan, but I can't believe in this entire evening with all talking about the possibilities of promotion and relegation, not one caller has come to support Team Bonsai. Why do you suppose that is?
I think Team Bonsai, some people forget about it. They're the underdogs.
You think they're not relevant anymore?
Hard, trying to do things. And, when you're playing half your games in the 8th dimension, you don't get as much coverage.
Well, and that's a zoning bias. Yeah, that's a zoning issue. I don't think that's really fair, to be honest.
Well, you know what? I think if we can learn anything from the Janes season this year, it's if you play the basics, if you play the fundamentals, eventually you can prevail. I mean, that is the one thing that kept them in these games. They were missing the talent of Cobb, which is why they were continuing to lose. But they played the fundamentals. Much that was once known has been forgotten, is something I hear over and over from the old coaches. You got to go back to basics if you want to win in the FSL.
And talk about the old coaches, the number one complaint in the chat room from what I'm seeing is the comment says, Team Bonsai was great when my dad watched him play in college, and I'll vouch for him. Of course, they're an older team, but they are the only to-date team that competed in the championship of the FSL and played the halftime show, and that's not nothing.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I mean, you got to wonder, is a team like Bonsai even more relevant than the Detroit RoboCops at this point? To a certain segment of population.
Oh no, look, I mean, obviously the RoboCops rode high on their OCP endorsement. Their sponsorship deal was really good, but once OCP pulled out, they're struggling. They're struggling. In fact, there's talk about OCP funding an entirely different team, and since they own the rights to the RoboCop name, they're just going to call it RoboCop 2.0.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll absolutely see. But
we will absolutely see. In fact, that's going to wrap it up for our championship post-game show. Don't forget, next week we will have a special edition of FSL Tonight with Commissioner Stan Lee to announce the newly promoted teams. You're not going to want to miss it. It'll be the last episode of FSL Tonight before we take off for the off season. Really looking forward to having the commissioner on the show. Justin, aren't you?
Oh, it's always great to have the commissioner on. He is an absolute legend and a character in his own right. And we're going to see. We talk about who's going to emulate the Jane strategy. If you look at the teams that are right now in the leading vote getters, Gallifrey, nothing but experience. The Beetlejuice Hitchhikers, they've got a run and gun style that would be absolutely exciting to bring to the FSL. And if you think that the kind of absolute non-organization that Canton is anything like the Casterly Rock Lions, then you are kidding yourself. It's going to be absolutely amazing to see which teams are going to come back next season for the FSL.
And actually, Casterly Rock Golden Lions not doing well. But Andrew Main, Brian Brushwood, thank you so much for joining us on FSL tonight.
Oh, dude, it's such an honor. You guys are the rock stars. We're about the lowly peons. Thank you so much for letting us hang with you.
And what a night did it on. What a great game. It starts off with the season where the top dogs, a team where half the roster was born in the mud. And where do they end? They end their run in the Canton, the home of the Mudders.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Kent and James. We'll see you next week.
See you.
Always getting closer to the big boom, and we'll catch up to the big boom.
Dude, that was so much fun. I'm gonna save this as. Do you want it as an AIFF?
No, I got it.
Are you sure?
Save it as. Pretty sure.
All right. I don't know. I feel like I should
rendering
just give it to you anyway. You're already rendering it. I'm gonna save it anyway.
Is that Eileen? Can we say hi, Eileen?
They want to say hi.
Hi, Eileen.
Just made some steak for my man. It's what I do.
This doesn't happen.
I'm such a homemaker.
She's like, are you with your nerd buddies right now?
Oh, look at the steak. Oh, you can't even say steak.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And
that's
eggs,
waiting for
just
you?
like a man wants them, right?
That's
just
a
like
very good steak.
I got granola bars, that I've eaten, and beef jerky while I try to finish this.
Beef jerky is kind of like steak.
I've got a nightstick with Hello Kitty stickers all over it.
Ooh, I'll take that.
Say hello. Chat room saying hello.
Hi guys. Hi chat room. I'm gonna go eat my steak.
I have a
now.
TARDIS with a horse coming
like
out of it.
Woman wants it. Yeah, steak. Yay. Bye guys.
Oh,
bye, Eileen. Nice to
Hi,
see you.
Eileen.
We're sorry for menacing you with weapons.
Wow.
That,
not expecting that.
Now was that? That's the first time you guys took live calls, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked that element because everybody
That
was
was
so
great.
awesome, and they just rolled with it. I felt bad that everything was a little chaotic and I wasn't as smooth as I could have been. I apologize.
That's okay.
for that.
I mean, I did select
It's live
people
radio,
off
Brian.
the forums who had shown that they really got what we were talking about.
My favorite comments were the people who came in and thought this was like a real thing. They took them a while to realize that it was.
It is a real thing.
I mean,
Brian.
yes, it
I don't
is
know what
a
you're talking
real
about,
thing.
DJM in the chat room says, will there be an FSL draft? The closest thing we're going to get to a draft will be next week, and that is where our commissioner will announce whether or not who's going to be in the league. And I'll tell you what, I think you guys should probably pencil out some time because I think there's going to be a lot of big drama. I think hopefully we'll get some resolution to some of these accusations with Canton, and we'll find out exactly how many teams are getting in next season.
All right, we expect a lot of developments over the next week. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, I have to go. I'll tell you this much. If ever the services of the BB Live Show Network, you want to use them, I'm happy to, even if all I do is switch for you guys, because I know you guys have the big show and we're just the lowly local guys. In fact, I got a high school league. What's that?
Stop saying that. You are awesome. Thank you so much for letting us.
Yeah,
use
you do the
for
Dragon
switching.
Sports Talk Radios.
I mean,
the universe's game of the week.
I know. It's a little featurette I get to do, but you know me. I'm mostly traffic and weather on the 9.5s. It's not.
That's not how FSL fans think of you.
I know. I mean, and it's very kind.
You're a legend
it's great.
in the booth.
It's. To the FSL fans, it's very kind that they say that kind of thing. But look, the point is, anytime we can divert some of our bandwidth over to you guys, we're happy to get it to our lowly 75 sectors.
I think Bry's a little bit too modest here. This is a guy that got his start in a little shack out there in Tatooine, of all places, and had to fight off Tusken Raiders in the middle of the night to make sure the signal went out to maybe 5 or 6 homesteads so they could follow the pod races.
Yeah, I mean, Tatooinean American, or sorry, Tatooinean.
Tuscan Tatooinians.
Tuscan Tatooinians.
That was it.
Yeah. No, it was, man. I remember. I was just totally like, OOTD. And then that was my battle cry at the time.
Still at work. Who won the minors this year? You're going to find all that out next week with the commissioner, because the winner of the minor league championship is elevated, as well as the fan vote. And who knows what other surprises are in store for us.
You know what?
We bring a final curtain on this season that has been full of them.
I'd love to, if we ever get the chance, and maybe this is something we should do on our show, Andrew, is take a moment to showcase the sub-minors, like Winifred's Wizards right here in Sector 7G. They got developmentally handicapped individuals who are really, really showing a lot of heart using what skills they have in order to make the big plays. And maybe we should take a moment to tell their stories.
I agree. I've been pushing for maybe covering some of the school stuff, the Javier School for the Gifted.
My God.
Some good players out of there, some really innovative team play, and we tend not to cover that spot, as much, but I think there's some interesting things there.
Maybe we could do like an after show program where we talk about scouting out the folks who, I'll tell you what, man, over there, I forget which league he's in, but the kid, Andrew Wiggin, young kid. But I see massive potential for him.
Very good strategist, Brian. I'm going to tell you, he's a guy that's physically people might think he's not formidable, but the way he's able to plan ahead, strategize, develop these attacks and these defenses that just totally.
The only criticism they get is that they don't think he has what it takes to really just close just kill him when he needs to, They think he's all pre-planning, and they think when it actually comes down to it, he won't seal the deal and just end the game forever.
I think sometimes they coddle these kids because they're afraid of what they'll turn out to, like into, really, really morose adults that wonder how they used their talents or wasted them. And I think really what we want to do is just unleash them.
But the problem is, that's the problem with all young talent is you got to get them in the right frame of mind to where, some of them need a little bit of psychological toughening up. Put them in a situation where they face failure in the face, maybe take away some opportunities for them, and then they value what they have. And they'll fight like hell to keep it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think if we give this kid enough scrimmages, eventually he's going to step out onto the real battlefield and not know the difference and not choke.
No, absolutely. And it's not just a matter of that, too. You want to blur those lines. Make them think all of life is a game and make them question what's real and what's not.
You might want to look at some college ball, like Break Bills. Good program up there.
You know what? Are you guys playing the fantasy FSL leagues? We should probably do that. Where we actually...
We'll see. I don't know. The league has always been very, very careful about releasing full stats. Obviously, there are some that compile them themselves and play in their fantasy leagues, but who knows next season? Obviously, this is a league on the rise, So we'll have to see where the head office wants to go with something like that, and if they do endorse giving the full fire hose of stats.
Well, and I'll tell you what, whether or not, I mean, you know the way the folks on the nets are. I mean, they're gonna figure out a way to get those stats whether they're released or not. I mean,
at least license them from a mirror universe or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
no. The FFSL is a force that it's going to happen. You can't stop it. And in fact, I've already seen a few websites where people have been taking early bets on the FFSL.
I've seen torrents of next season's games.
See, and now that's what kind of ruins it for me. That's too far. That is too far.
Need some sort of legislation to stop that.
The problem is you never know if that's the way it's actually going to turn out. I mean, I know games are a fixed point, but torrented future games are not reflective of fixed point games.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the mirror universe problem. I agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
You know what, though? There was a proposal that they allow full-on disclosure of future games, but anyone who bets on them submits to the floating universe alternate paradox, where they could actually end up in an alternative universe.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that proposal. There's some real fallout to that people are very careful to consider. That it's going to cause some issues with things like doping, with things like contracts. I mean, how do you define your play time in that situation? So
It just seems like you're getting yourself right into a continuity mess. You know, you're really breaking timelines here, hither and non with little regard. It's going to be hard to keep things straight. And if you can find a sports book that's going to honor something in a mirror universe or ultimate timeline, really, what's to stop you from skipping through to find the version of it you want? You know?
yeah. Well, that's
And-
the thing,
and when you
right?
gotta-
You torrent a future game, you watch it, you know who wins, you scout a player, you see a vulnerability, maybe he's hurt. You go, you give that to a team before they play them. All of a sudden, that game has changed.
Well, and that's the problem is there's the scouting issue. People who don't actually go far enough to know where the game goes, but they go ahead enough to know whether or not there's any pre-injuries up to the first moment of the game. And while technically that's within the rules, if you ask me, for example, the whole situation with this with Sauron, you know, if you had seen that ring finger, you would have known in advance. I mean, it would have been all over.
Yeah, they were just played for that, right? Which it could have thrown off their strategy and worked against them.
Yeah.
Abso-smurfly.
Well, there we go. I'll tell you
now
what,
listen,
next,
hey, Tom, because we're buddies, I put you on the BB Live Show network. There are certain curse words we're not okay with, okay?
I
Party
ate a
foul,
whole
Tom.
steak.
Party foul.
We don't say the S, all right?
For next week's episode, we will have some information, if not a set date for season 2 of the FSL, or next season rather of the FSL. So please,
It took
everybody.
me that long to figure out what you were talking about.
I was wondering.
Turning
I was wondering
blue,
when you were
trying
gonna
to
get
figure
that
out
one.
what it was.
I
You
turned
finally-
a little blue in embarrassment.
No, seriously, Brian had a very bad experience involving some
Okay, well,
Romulan
look,
ale.
listen, I'm not saying there's a lot of blue people who are great. And then there's some
Look,
of those.
let's call
people.
them Belgians.
Well,
Sure.
Smurfs.
I mean, come on, Brian. Hey, listen, you're gonna have to grow up to be a man one day if you don't just want to hide behind your Smurf.
You weren't
dad
there!
Smurf.
Justin, you weren't there.
I mean, and this was coming right after, Brian, thought he went to bed with an Orion slave girl. Next thing you know, he's at a furry party with a bunch of tribbles.
Okay, look, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm done with this.
I don't think anybody would be taking any tips from Mr. Sand people up there in the upper right.
Okay,
You know
now
what I mean.
that
I got a little hot water about that, folks. Sorry. I do have to apologize yet again for my gaffe in terms of referring to Tuscan Tatooinians as sand people. It's unprofessional of me. and you deserve better.
You didn't get booted off the internet for that? Off the nets?
No, they made him apologize.
It was touch and go, Brian. Touch and go.
This was after the week after he'd made his argument about why the best Wookiee players are that best because of Wookiee slave trading.
Well, no, I mean, look,
Andrew, see, they got that extra bone.
Yeah.
It just makes them, you get a lot more lift and explosion.
They got the reach, and I think it's because they grow up in the trees. All them Wookiees grow up in the trees.
Wait.
And they're able to jump high, and they got the long reach.
If you want to play FSL Tonight Week 10 from FSLTonight.com, you can hear Justin's apology.
Oh, really? FSL Tonight 10?
Yeah, Week 10. Canton believe it.
FSL Tonight, episode 10. I am looking for it. Do you know which archive it was in?
It's right on the front page still.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Just scroll down.
Hey, well, gents, I've got to run. We've got an MMA fight going on there with some high-gravity dwarfs, which I'm going to be very curious to see how that works out.
Awesome, dude. Enjoy it. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
That's right.
Global Intergalactic Meantime.
Thanks again, Andrew.
Positive in his
Thank you, Andrew.
Dagobah Mug Racing tomorrow, 6 a.m. Check it out in the BB Live Network.
His team was going to die next season.
Listen, I'm not going to die. I can't die. You know why?
Right at the very beginning of Week 10.
Oh, right at the very beginning?
Pretty.
Yeah, very, very beginning.
Hold on.
We are just too pretty.
Fate off in the big game next week.
No, it's like literally the first.
You don't start from the beginning. It's the first thing.
And these results aren't there.
Wait, I can't get back. I can't get back.
I can't go back. I don't know how it works.
I got nowhere else to go.
790 Dragon Sports Talk Radio. Sports Talk Radio.
Arrakis' season is decided in Mordor, but
that's what's in the front page.
Week 10?
It doesn't say week 10. It just says posted on. It says this.
Go to FSL Tonight Week 10. That's semifinals.
Okay.
So keep scrolling.
Well, there's nothing. Oh, I got down
There's
to
a big
here,
long space.
and I saw there was nothing, and I thought, why would I keep going lower?
I need to fix that.
And then I did. There we go.
There you go.
I'm Justin Robert Young. Before we start the show today, I do want to apologize. During my regular segment on FSL this morning with Zaphod and Beetlebrox, I referred to Tuscan Tatooinians as the derogatory slur Sand People. I very much apologize for what I said and did not expect the outpouring of outrage, mostly because their numbers were hidden. I apologize.
790 Dragon Sports.
Because they all came at you in a straight line to hide their numbers.
Listen, they come in single file, and you don't really know how many there are.
Well, I'm glad that you own that mistake.
Now go all the way to the end of that episode.
All right.
That Mordor's championship will be played against Arrakis because I believe in the mud, Tom. I am a man of the mud. Get your milk ready because the Canton Janes are going to the final. I think they match up exceptionally well against Serenity Valley. I think that Jay knows this team inside and out. And you want to know what? When it comes down to it, as much as I think Mal is a future Hall of Famer in this league, I don't think he's able to put things together. He's the hero of Canton for a reason, Tommy. The man they call Jane is going to the finals.
There's only one way to find out. We'll let them play and be back next week to tell you how it all shakes out and preview the final. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm Tom Merritt, Justin Robert Young. We'll see you next time.
Playoffs!
Now let's listen through all the music.
All right.
Yeah, keep going. I'm glad that show's over. I'm sweating like a sand person in this bitch. That got me more trouble. So I apologize yet again.
Can't believe you, Justin. Can't believe you.
I know. I was thought better.
Somebody just sent me the absence of the towels from 5 Second Films.
Oh, shit.
Would you fuck me, John? Oh, god damn it! I fuck me so hard.
We already did that one. Damn it.
Is that Cheeto?
No, it wasn't Cheeto. Cheeto's out of strikes. Somebody has to. If Cheeto wants something shown on the show, he needs to get 3 people to vet for it from now on. Like there's no. Hey man, I gotta go, guys. Thank you
All right, thanks, man.
Very much.
Thank you very, very much for running the stream. I totally appreciate it.
Dude, day not. It was a total blast, and
good, I'm
and I felt bad that I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be, but it was still a lot of fun.
You were great. It was awesome.
No, you're perfect, Bri. And just in code, did you shoot the thing with the person for the other thing that we do?
Once this stream ends, I can show you the very rough.
Go.
Bye, guys.
End the stream.
Bye. So long.